Hi, and welcome to Jed's podcast, where we explore what makes great podcasts tick. I am Jed Solana, and today we're taking a closer look at Stuff You Should Know, a podcast that's loved by many. Let's dive right in. Stuff You Should Know is a popular podcast hosted by Josh Clark and Chuck Bryant. It is an educational show that covers all sorts of interesting topics, from how things work to fascinating historical events. Produced by How Stuff Works, the podcast has earned a lot of praise, including being featured in top podcast charts and winning awards. Its success comes from its engaging and informative style. Each episode of Stuff You Should Know is well organized. They start by introducing the topic, then explore it in detail, and wrap up with a summary. They often include segments like listener mail or special series. The content is very high quality. For example, in episode 3, they explain what's the deal with baby boomers with a mix of facts and fun stories. This makes learning both enjoyable and easy to understand. The storytelling is also so strong. Josh and Chuck chat about topics in a way that feels like a friendly conversation. They use stories, jokes, and explanations to make the content interesting and relatable. The audio quality is great in Stuff You Should Know. It's clear and easy to listen to, thanks to good sound engineering. This helps keep listeners focused and engaged. Editing and pacing are done well. Episodes flow smoothly with a good balance between detail and speed. The editing makes sure the episodes stay on track and interesting without dragging on. Music and sound effects are used thoughtfully. They add a nice touch to the episodes but don't overpower the content. For example, background music during transitions helps to set the mood without being distracting. Stuff You Should Know is aimed at anyone who loves learning new things. Its audience is diverse, covering different ages and interests. The podcast connects with its audience through social media and listener interactions. They encourage feedback and participation, which helps build a loyal community. Feedback is very positive. Listeners often praise the podcast for making learning fun and accessible. Reviews and comments highlight how much people enjoy the host's easygoing style and informative content. You can find Stuff You Should Know on popular platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. This wide availability helps it reach a large audience. The podcast is promoted through a dedicated website and active social media accounts. How Stuff Works also helps with promotion, which is effective in growing its listeners' base. The podcast makes money through ads and sponsorships. These are integrated smoothly into the episodes, so they don't interrupt the content. This approach supports the podcast while keeping the listener experience positive. Stuff You Should Know is successful because it offers high-quality content, great storytelling, and strong audience engagement. These elements makes it a standout podcast in its genre. After looking at this podcast, it's clear that combining interesting content with good marketing and listening interaction can lead to success to the podcast. This case study offers valuable lessons for anyone interested in starting their own podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Jed's podcast. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe and join us next time for more podcast insights. I am Jed Solana, and I'll see you soon. Until next time, keep listening and keep learning.